Hello everybody and welcome to the Home Upgrade Grant 2 Memorandum of Understanding webinar. This is the second MoU webinar that we are holding. We had a first webinar on the 13th of December that was really successful, and this session is to demonstrate where and how to sign the HUG2 MoU and Data Sharing Agreement DSA. So a little agenda for the session. So we're going to discuss the timelines for the MoU and the DSA. These are exactly the same as the timelines we went through in the first webinar, but they're really important. So we just want to make sure that everyone's really clear on them. We've got some initial question and answers about the process that I'll go through. Then I'll go to a live demonstration of how to update the documents, and then I'll also run through a demonstration of documents that we've developed to help you with completing and signing the MoU and the DSA. Okay, so a little bit of useful information before we go any further. Round 1 application window has now closed. If you have applied, you should know the outcome of your application. For those projects that have applied and have been successful, the MoU and the DSA will be sent to you week commencing the 19th of December. Round 2 applications are also open. The deadline for that application is the 27th of January 2023. So if you would like support with your application and haven't already, please go to the Home Upgrade Hub. There's some contact information on the last slide of this presentation that I'll go through right at the end, but it's an incredibly valuable resource, so please do head there if you haven't already. Okay, so I'll run through some key dates. As I said before, these are the same dates and the same timeline that we went through last week, but some of them are only around the corner and they're really important, so I'm going to go over them again. So MoU and the DSA for those who applied and were successful in the first round application and wanted 22-23 funding, or were successful and applied for 23-24 funding onwards, you're going to receive an MoU and a DSA in a week commencing the 19th of December. And we're asking for the MoU and the FRA to be signed and returned to BEIS by the 27th of January. That gives you 5 weeks to return it. I understand that there is obviously Christmas within that period, but given that we've published these on gov.uk, we're having these webinars, we're hoping that that will help ease the process of getting these signed and returned to us. The second application round closes on the 27th of January. And for those who were sent an MoU and a DSA week commencing the 19th and who wanted 22-23 funding, we're asking for the DSA to be returned to BEIS on by the 3rd of February. So the DSA, you have another week to sign and return the DSA. But it's really, really important that we have those documents by the 27th of January and the 3rd of February respectively, because we want to be able to ensure that we can turn around the financial processes on our end and give you that money so you can start delivering in February. So for consortia and hubs, as stipulated in the MoU, we ask for the governance structure, the management and reporting structure, 10 working days after the MoU is signed. So although this says the 10th of February, it might be a different date for you, but 10 working days after the MoU has been signed, please send us that information. So for those LAs who've requested 20-23 funding, providing that we get a signed MoU back, and we're looking to transfer you that funding in mid-February, so you have approximately 6 weeks to deliver in this financial year. Okay, so for those LAs who have applied and were successful in the first round, there is a different date of return for the MoU and the DSA, which is the 10th of February. So you have approximately 7 weeks to return the MoU and the DSA. We are asking for that information at that point because we also want to prepare for the next financial year to ensure that we have all the documentation ready, but you have approximately 7 weeks to provide us that information. Okay, so for the second round of applications, the MoU and the DSA will be sent around the 9th of March, and we're asking for those back around the 6th of April. So that's around 4 weeks. We then can provide upfront payments for 23-24 from April 23, and then we have the delivery assurance check batch submissions beginning in April 23 as well. Okay, this is just a timeline that shows those dates that I've just talked through. It's just showing how some of these activities are overlapping, but these slides will be sent to you, so please do have a look through. Okay, so what needs to be returned? Again, this is the same information we went through last week, so I'll not spend too much time on it. But a signed copy of the MoU, a signed copy of the Section 151 or Section 73 Officer Declaration, Section 31 Grant Determination Notice, the Grant Claim Form, an Oracle LA registration setup form, which is all information that you've previously submitted to us under other projects, and a fraud risk assessment as well. And I believe a template for that is on gov.uk. There'll also be the data sharing agreement and then the fraud management plan, which is to be submitted for the delivery assurance check, so prior to batch delivery, which comes on the 1st of April. So in terms of the MoU submission, we need the top two bullet points, which is a signed copy of the MoU, those documentation, and then subsequently the data sharing agreement. Okay. The data sharing agreement, again, this is something that I went through last week, so I'll not labour the point, but please do be proactive with the DSA. The content of the DSA on gov.uk is the same content as the DSA that you will be sent, so please do engage with it early. Make sure whoever needs to have sight of it does have sight of it, and this will hopefully help move along the process of approvals on your side. Okay, so that's some of the information that I wanted to go through with you again. This session is intended to demonstrate where and how to sign the MoU and the DSA. But it's important to say that we won't go through the detail of these documents. So please do go through the detail. Please do read them before you sign them. This is purely an illustrative exercise on how and where to sign on these documents. And the example I'm going to go through contains some fictitious data. It includes several X's where there's funding figures. Don't worry about that. The documents that you receive will be fully tailored to the to your project, whatever you have applied for. Okay, so I'm going to go through some kind of high-level questions here. So what do I need to sign the documents? So Adobe Acrobat Reader is a free PDF reader that is usually the default program on most computers, and I will show you how to use this. But if you want to use another program or process to add a legible and valid e-signature to the documents, please do. The only thing I would say is please make sure those signatures are accurate, legible, and valid. Requesting signatures from those who need to sign the document. It may be easier to request those in advance of actually signing the document, so they can just be inserted as images. So I will show you this in a slightly more detail when we get to the live demonstration. But this is essentially a point to say, please do plan ahead and ensure that those who need to sign the documents are available. Can I print off the document to sign it? we really strongly advise against this. Legal advice has been clear that there needs to be certainty about what has been signed. And given the ongoing nature of addendums to the MoU that will kind of flow throughout the project, we really strongly recommend using e-signatures. Okay, so I'm going to change now to show you the checklist that we've developed to help you update these documents. So it's got two tabs that are in green, guidance and question and answers. This guidance form just provides a very high level overview. So again, we've just popped on here. The checklist is intended to help you complete the MoU and the DSA. If you don't want to use it, that's absolutely fine. If you'd like to use the content, but copy and paste it into Microsoft Word, for example, if you don't like Excel, that's also absolutely fine. We also don't want you to send this document back to us. Again, it's intended to help you complete it, but don't feel the need to send us back your completed checklist. This is only supposed to be an aid for you and going through these documents. And question and answers, just a very quick couple here. Can I print off and sign the MoU and DSA? Again, we strongly recommend doing that. And do I have to use Adobe Acrobat Reader? Absolutely not. The webinar is going to demonstrate how to do that because it's usually the default program on computers, but if you want to use a different software, please do. Okay, so this is the checklist that we've developed. There are around 51 areas for you to update, and this is broken down between the MoU and the DSA. So in the MoU, there's around 37. I think 16 of those are on one form, the Oracle registration form. So there's not actually that many places to sign. And then the subsequent 14 are in the DSA. What I would say is you've seen all of these forms before. They have been in the MoU that was published on gov.uk, so there should be a level of familiarity there. So if we just look at this table quickly, we'll see we've got the document in column B, so that just details whether it's the MoU or the DSA that we have further at the bottom. What needs to be updated? So here this is just a description of what you need to input, so whether it's a signature, a name, a position, or a date. And then there's obligation number or section. So this gives you a kind of general idea of whereabouts in the document it is, but we have actually provided the specific page numbers. So you should be able to look at this and then navigate to that corresponding page in the document. Column F shows whether it's completed or not. So don't worry that these all say no. Essentially, what we've done here is we've just added a very simple drop-down list. So you can say yes or no. No is currently conditionally formatted to be read. And when you change it to yes, when you have completed it, it'll ping up green. So I'll change that back for the minute. And then in column G, we have guidance notes. So these provide a little bit of information on some of the areas that you will be updating. So for example, in Annex 3 on the purchase order number, you don't need to complete this row. That's something for BEIS to complete, so you don't need to worry about completing that. Likewise, there's a little bit of information here about, for example, contact details. Whose contact details should you be putting into the form? So as I touched on, this has got a little bit of conditional formatting on. So no is in red, yes is in green. What you might notice is that we've got a little box here. So this is a little bit of summary statistics. So we've got this broken down between the MoU and the DSA. So this will give you a kind of running tally of how many fields you've completed in the MoU, give you an idea of how far through the document you've got. And then there's also just a percentage as well. So you'll see that percentage number and the fields completed just going up as I'm going through yes. And it's the same for the DSA as well. So if I update one of these to yes, and we go back up to this, it's noted that we're 7% through of the fields completed in the DSA. So again, it's just to help you keep track of going through that document. One thing that's really important is, particularly for the DSA, there are some fields in the DSA that are optional or that may differ from LA to LA. So if you don't get to 100%, that's absolutely fine. As long as you've completed the sections that you need to complete, that's all we're after. Okay. Likewise, if you scroll down on this document, the headers from the columns should also fall down as well, so you'll be able to keep an eye on which what these bits of information refer to. So again, this is supposed to help. If you don't want to use it, that's absolutely fine. But I'm going to switch over now to actually look at the MoU and how we're going to do this in practice. So here we've got the Hug 2 Memorandum of Understanding, and you can see this for a fictitious LA project. So again, with the prefix that please do go and read this document. This is only a demonstration of how to fill it out, so I'm going to jump straight to filling it out, but please do go through all necessary due diligence. So I am going to bring up the checklist and this document at the same time. And what that allows me to do is flick to the precise page number and navigate straight there. So you'll see there's some links in this document. So if you just click on that, and then we can navigate straight down to page 48. So we can see the corresponding page number here, 48. And here we've got signature, name, position, date, signature, name, position, date. So the next question is how to actually add on the signature, name, position, date into this PDF document. And it's very simple. If you navigate to sign on the ribbon on the top, fill and sign, and then I'll increase this so it's a little bit easy to show. For signature, you can place the cursor where the signature box is, and then if you go to sign yourself, and what we can do here is we can add a signature, and it'll pop up this screen here, and you can add in the signature of the appropriate colleague in your organization. And then we can just drop that right into the signature space. You can make it a little bit bigger if you want to. So that's one way. The second way, if I delete this, is to again pop your cursor there, go back to sign yourself, and then add signature. And what you can do is insert an image of that signature there. And then you can go on to apply. And again, drop it into the relevant space. So it really is as simple as that. So we've added the signature. If we now go to the name, so if you again just pop your cursor there, and you can just type straight into this space the name, same process for position. And the date as well. I'm going to put the 20th of January, make sure we're returning this nice and early. So when you've done that, you can then press close. This information is then updated on the document. If you realize, for example, that, oh, I've actually inserted some information incorrectly. So for example, I've actually written 2026 instead of 2023. You can just click back on there and change it. Okay, and then just save this document as you go using the normal procedure, file, save as. Okay. So again, now what we can do is we can go to our checklist and we can say, right, well, we've completed the signature, and you can just drag this down if you want, name, position, and date. So we've completed 4 fields of the MoU. So we're now 11% of the way through. Fantastic. And what you can do is you can use this checklist to go through and navigate to the next page, so page 50, and go through the same process. So again, we'll go on to sign, fill and sign, and you can add in, again, the relevant signature. So the signatures will obviously change depending on the form, who needs to sign that form. Here, obviously, it's the section 151 or section 73 officer, but the process remains the same. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the DSA. So there's a slight one different kind of functionality that we're looking for in the DSA, but again, it's very, very simple. So if I go back to the checklist, so I think it's around page 16. So I'm going to navigate to page 16. Here we are. So you'll see that the text that's italicized in the DSA is usually asking the grant recipient some information here. So for obligation 60, we can see that there is a question, and we can see that one of the prompts is to delete as appropriate. So really simple how to do this is you can just highlight that text and press the backspace, and it will strike through. So now we've successfully deleted as appropriate. And then to add text here, again, what we'll do is we'll go on to sign, fill and sign. Just place our cursor here, and then we can type in the correct information. Again, once you're content, you can then save the document as you go. So that is essentially the process of how to update these PDFs. It's very, very simple. What we have also done, just to provide another kind of layer of assurance, is we've created a very easy step-by-step guide. So instead of coming back to this webinar, if you have any questions, you can just go straight to this document that we'll send you in the email when you receive the MoU in the DSA, and it should just provide a kind of shorthand for how you go about this process. So again, just going out to sign and fill, adding in the correct information, whether that's typing it in or inserting an image. Again, I would recommend getting images of people's signatures in advance. It makes the process a lot simpler. And then you can insert those. So that really brings us to a close for this webinar. I think some important things to remember are the checklist is provided as a guide to help you complete the documents. It's in no way mandatory. It's only there to help you. So if you do want to use it, that's absolutely fine. If you don't, that is also absolutely fine. Please be proactive. The timelines are at the beginning of this presentation, but please ensure the individuals who need to sign the documents are available. Again, as I've said before, it may be wise to request signatures early to be able to add them to documents, mitigate any risk that people are not around to be able to sign those. Again, we strongly recommend against printing the documents to sign them. We believe e-signatures are a valid and robust way to sign these documents. And then please do ensure that any signatures that are added are legible and valid. And the last slide is related to further support. So the Home Upgrade Hub is a BEIS-backed support service which provides free technical support to all LAs interested in applying to HUG 2. It's being delivered by Turner & Townsend, and we have some contact details here. For anything, for any support that is unrelated to technical support, please contact the HUG team directly. Okay, so thank you very much for taking the time to join this webinar and go through the content with me. Again, if you have any questions, please do let us know. But we hope that this has been useful. Okay, thank you very much.